Here's one I got. Now, I don't know. Do you know about the personality types?
I think so. I don't know exactly much about them. All I know is like introverted personality versus extroverted personality.
Okay. Not quite where I was going. I got them written here of the three main ones. Okay. There's actually five, some people say six, of different types of personalities. And these are mainly for guys. Not always, because if you, since we here at Crazy Uncle Channel know there's a difference between men and women, that we know that these words mean something different for men compared to women. We're going to focus on the male side here because I don't have any females here to bounce this off of. Okay? The three main ones are betas, alphas, and sigmas. Okay? Those are the three main personality types. I don't know why you're getting pissed off. Okay, let me explain.
I'm gonna keep my comments.
Well, we're gonna have them as soon as I'm done explaining. You can freaking go nuts. Just make sure to ease off the cursing because I still gotta be able to post this.
All right.
Okay, now the main thing with these three different types. Okay, your sigma is like your John Wick. Okay, always focused. Usually doesn't talk much. Is all business. Okay. And this is the type of personality us guys want to be. Most of us are not wired this way. And it's unfortunate. But it is something to aspire to. Very few people, and I mean not even the 1% of 1% are natural born sigmas. It is very difficult to ever find one. Now, an easy way to find a sigma on, say, a sports team is one who is really good but never ever sits there and goes, woo, look how great I am. Because when they go, woo, look how great I am, it looks like they're friggin' grabbing dicks. You know, it's terrible. Yeah, I'm sure somebody's going to cut that one. Anyways, whatever. Yeah, whatever.
Better get clipped.
Regardless of all that, Joker, the Sigma is a professional, a true professional. The one thing you don't want to do is piss these guys off because before you piss them off, they can be some of the coolest people. They will literally rip the shirt off their back and hand it to you if that's what you need. However, if you treat them poorly, they will not only cut you off, but they will make sure that everybody else knows without being a dick, without going to every person. You remember, what this person did? No, they don't have to do that. They will just make sure that enough people know what happened, and they will make sure they come with evidence. They'll bring the receipts, and they'll make sure everybody knows. When that happens, you're fucked. Okay, you cannot betray a Sigma more than once. You do, and God help you. Okay, but everybody should, at least guys, need to try and be that Sigma. Try to be that quiet professional, focusing on your grind, because the more Sigma you are, the more success you're going to get. Pure and simple, you're going to end up being focused on your work, and so focused that you're going to be able to find all the little things to deal with, and you're going, not only in the Army, you would train for this way. You would not train to get it right. You know that, right? We never
train until you can't get it wrong.
Cannot get it wrong. It becomes automatic. Just like right now, just thinking about having a weapons malfunction, I'm trying to stop my hands from moving to freaking pull back everything and check the chamber so I can make sure it's clear so I don't have a double feed or something. It's something that is in you after a while. But to be a Sigma, you train and train and train at things until then. And most Sigmas are usually very quiet, mostly reserved, which is why they get confused a lot with the betas because they're not outspoken. They're very good at what they do. But they're also extremely polite. Sigmas want the respect, but they're going, very few times will they demand respect. There's a difference between demanding and commanding respect. If you demand respect, that's like when you first walk into basic training. Those drill sergeants are going to be literally in your face. By the end, or actually by the end of the first week, everyone's going to realize these guys know what the hell they're talking about, and they will command respect just by walking in the room. It's just the way it is.
I remember seeing a video actually related to that, and the dude was taught by his mom, or something to like respect like these four types of people, and he kept saying "sir" to his drill sergeant, and his drill sergeant, like after so many days of dealing with this, he flipped his shit and said, "Why do you keep calling me sir?" And the kid was like, "I was taught by my mom to respect my mom, my dad, people who know what the fuck they're talking about, and people who can kill me. And quite frankly, drill sergeant, you have checked 2 of those damn boxes."
First off, he wouldn't say damn boxes to his drill. But
well,
I can understand that one. And we dealt with that all the time. There was always that one for about a week or two. He'd go, "Yes, sir, drill sergeant." And we would just kind of pause, look at him. He knew he screwed up, and then we just kept on going. Okay, it's like the difference between a screw up and a fuck up. For those of you who don't know what the difference between a screw up and a fuck up is, a screw up is you did something wrong, but nobody really gets hurt, no long-lasting consequences, but you learn from it. A fuck up, you're paying for. Hopefully, you learn from it, because if you fuck up more than once, your life is really in trouble. Now, we went over the sigma. The alpha, everybody knows this. Somebody who is usually pretty good at theirs, but they, like women, they live off all the attention. If they're not getting attention, they won't do anything. I hate to say, I might have known somebody who was like that really bad when he was a kid, and it used to drive me crazy. You can grow out of that shit, which is great. Unfortunately, for most alphas in high school era, they don't know how to downshift and become the sigma that they need to be for life. If they're going to be alpha their whole life, they're not going to get very far. They might go far because they do have that drive and the personality. But they're not going to succeed as far as they need to. They will never be at the upper echelons, mainly because they may have the drive, they do not have the self-restraint. Okay, I don't know if you're going to hear it because infantry phrases, there's violence of action and tactical patience. They work in concert with each other, but never at the same time. If anybody out there knows, it's the phrase of, we're quiet until we're not. Or we're nice until we're not. It's just that's just the way it goes. So that's the thing with the alpha is they are, I hate to say it, but when they're in high school, yeah, they're the top dog. After that, usually they suck. Everybody I know who was an alpha in high school, let's see, one ended up driving his vehicle off the road and crippling him, and yet he still blamed it on everybody else, even though he was alone in the car drunk driving. One was, that I know specifically, was sleeping on a basement floor, and yet he was the top dog. Sure, yeah, whatever. Another one knocked up his girlfriend and tried to run out on her until people dragged his ass back. Thankfully, he did get his head out of his ass after that. But it took a lot. And alphas do not change until this is one of the things. Alphas, you'll find, have also very addictive personalities. And I mean addictive as in they like to drink, they like to smoke, they like to do all the wacky tobacco and all the other drugs that go with it. And they crash and burn hard, and they will not change. They will refuse to change anything until they have absolutely zero choice. They do not have introspection at all.
I know a few kids like that, unfortunately.
And it's going to happen. It's just part of how things go. You can't get rid of it. It'd be nice if we could downshift them and get them on the Sigma path, but they will not change until life freaking slaps them in the dick and freaking makes them freaking... You never heard that before? You better knock it off. You're going to get your pee-pee slapped. But anyways, they're not going to change unless they have to. They have no introspection. Now, the beta personality, we all know about that. That is the pushover. Too much introspection. Way too much introspection. These are the guys who do not move forward because they're constantly analyzing, what do I need to do? They think beyond the time where action needs to happen. And that a lot of times that's all that happens. A beta can become more alpha. An alpha almost never becomes more beta unless he is literally down for the count, and even then, a lot of times they'll stay that way. Alpha personalities are some of the worst out there, and people don't realize it. They think, oh, these alphas are freaking great. No, they're not. They can be completely destructive. So can the betas because they can pull you down. However, if you are one person who has too much introspection, if you pause too much and you worry about what other people are going to think, I want you to think about this. Next time, what are people going to think? Say this. Fuck them. Fuck them up the ass with a big rubber dick. Nobody gives a shit, okay? It's not their life, it's yours. It's not their life, it's yours. You need to make things happen. If you're one of these beta folks, you need to make it happen. And I'll let you know this. Change is a motherfucker. It is hard. It's always been hard. But let me check my notes real quick to make sure it's not in here. No, it's not. I'm going to let you in on a little secret. And this works for... I want you to keep this in mind too. If you are building a new good habit or trying to get over a bad habit, I want you to keep this in mind, okay? The next couple of phrases I'm going to say. The first week is going to be hard. The second week is infinitely harder. By the end of the third week, you cannot argue with results. It doesn't matter if this is quitting your drinking, going to the gym, reading books. I don't care. It all falls under the same thing. It falls under the whole addict playbook. Now, if you're trying to break a bad habit, and this is for everybody, you have to be aware of your triggers. Okay, there is an actual diagram. If I can remember it, I'll have it posted here. It's 4 different parts. One is the trigger. The second is the thought. The third is the action. The fourth is the regret. And then
it resets.
And then it resets again.
I think they added the 5 as a relapse if...
No, well, that's what the action is.
Yeah.
This is one of those things, it was good when it started, and then people just kind of added to it, and it's like, you don't have to. It's good where it is. You know, they say you can add to but can't take away. That, no. Sometimes don't add anything to it. That's like when they added stuff to Star Wars and it made it look terrible.
Star Wars!
Yeah, Star Wars. Anyways, regardless, stay away from the triggers, and if you know what the triggers are, this is all you gotta do. It's so simple. It's so unbelievably simple. Say you're trying to get away from coffee, and your trigger is the smell of coffee, and you accidentally walk past an area that's selling coffee. You didn't know they were going to have coffee. Or somebody just walks by with one of those Star Schmucks containers, and they go, ah, and you can smell coffee. Remove yourself from the situation. Do something else. That's it. You would be amazed. You do something else. I don't care if it's go to the gym, go for a run, go and beat your dick against a freaking tree. I don't give a fuck. What? You have to find something else to break that trigger, break that response, because eventually you will break that response, and you can build a positive on a negative.
Okay, can we backtrack for a second here? Beat your dick against a tree? What the I can't even...
What did I say in the beginning? I'm infantry. We have very sick and deranged and dark humor.
I'm sorry, but that good lord.
He's got the visuals in his head right now.
Yup.
And I can see the smoke coming out of your ears. Anyways.
What am I, a choo-choo train?
All aboard. Anyways. Whatever. Still, just keep away from the triggers. If you know what the trigger is, stay away from it. Now, one of the major problems is people are addicted to this piece of shit. Okay?
I'll admit, I kind of am.
I know it's addicting. I have to check it like 3 or 4 times a day, but that's for work. The thing is, I specifically do not download social media. I do not have a Tiki-Tiki-Talk account. However, if this ends up on there, then you'll know I actually made one for the channel.
The Tiki-Tiki-Tiki-Tiki-Tiki-Talk?
Yeah, well, if I could get the actual joke on it. the old Adult Swim Tiki Tiki Tock Tock dance. It was pretty gay. It was no, it was really really gay. People thought it was funny. I thought it was just disturbing. Regardless of that, just remember, learn what if you want to break that habit. Just remember the timeline. Remember to avoid the triggers, and if you find one, just get to a different area. Okay? It's unbelievably important that you do that. Now, there was something else I was going to throw in here, and it literally was at the front of my head. I was speaking, and it literally fell out my ear. And
oh, wait. See if you can go find it.
hold on. There it is. Yeah, you asked. That's like, hold on, let me get something out of my pocket. Bing! Yeah, that whole chestnut.
Oh, wait.
No, we can do... Hey, again, this has got to go on YouTube. Knock it off.
Oh, come on.
So, anyway... also, and here's what it is, because it came back in. The moment, okay? You say you're trying to break a habit, okay? I'm just gonna say quit smoking because that was the big thing when I was a kid. Most people don't smoke not nearly as much as when I was, because we actually had smoking sections in restaurants when I was a kid. When you're in the moment, that's the hardest point. The moment is always there, digging at you, but if you suddenly have a compulsion, just kind of draws you in, oh, suddenly, man, I want a cigarette. I want you to think at the end goal. And that will help you get through the moment. I'm going to say that again. Focus on the goal, and that will get you through the moment. Now, if you're working out, it's good to have a lot of small goals so you can focus on you can see the big goal, but you can actually get those little victories. You know, oh, I haven't had a cigarette in 2 days. Yeah, awesome. I haven't had a cigarette in a week. Oh, I'm doing even better. You know, it's the little victories that'll help keep you motivated. But we're not talking about motivated. Yeah, go ahead. And while you're gone, I'm going to hit the next thing.